So the first question of this week is from a gentleman called Simon. And he's asking basically, can I use ESPs? ESP stands for email service provider, or basically a service that allows you to send email in bulk. Okay. So ESPs like MailChimp, you probably heard of it. MailerLite, which I use. Active Campaign. And I think last week in our Three Marketers episode, we interviewed a gentleman from Smiley. There's also they are a pretty big email ESP in Estonia, so you should check them out. SMAILY. So Simon is asking, can he use these tools to send cold emails? Okay, so my advice to you is no. It wouldn't be appropriate for you to use these tools to send emails for cold emails. Cold emails means basically you're sending an email to somebody who may not know you, and you're trying to basically reach out to build a connection and to explore possible business opportunities, or maybe basically explore whether they may need your services. Okay, so generally there are two areas of emails. Okay, so if you're looking at cold emails, that's one. And the other one is basically inbound. Oops. All right. So let me move this out. So when you use stuff like MailerLite, MailChimp, essentially is basically inbound. That means a person actually gave you the right, or basically give you the permission to email them. Now you obviously now know that I don't have a degree in art, and they basically give you an email address, right? And to you, so that you can then send them updates or communication to this person. All right. So this way, because the keyword here is, because the keyword here is permission, this person has to give you permission to send emails to him or her. Okay. So that's what you call email, and that's where you use tools like MailLite, MailChimp, Active Campaign, lots of them out there to send. So that's the proper use of this tool. Now, like I mentioned, when it comes to cold email, it is essentially you trying to find somebody's email. Let's say mine, okay? Let's say you have a service on, let's say, web design, and you somehow went to LinkedIn Farm and managed to get my email, and you want to write an email to me, to reach out to me, okay, to propose or to try to encourage me to get into a conversation, which eventually link to an opportunity for you to propose your service. Okay. Now, when you do this, okay, this is what you call cold outreach. First, the key point is this person do not know you. So you have to find a way to so-called establish some connection or initial connection. It's just like cold calling, all right? In those days with phones, it's cold calling. So with email, it's cold email. That's all right? Cold calling, cold email, all right? So when you do this, the tools that you use, you should be using specific tool like, it's the wrong tint of green. Let me use another green. So you can use tool like Milkshake, right? Well, at the moment I can think of Milkshake. What's the other one? Lamlist, right? So the keyword, if you want to do a search, you cold emails service providers, okay? Cold email platforms. So these sort of emails are different because it allows you, the idea is remember you're reaching out to someone, some stranger or somebody, and the person wants to be able to basically reply back to you. Okay, so you want to send a ping out and then get a ping back. So software like this allows you to track whether the person replied to you. So the beauty is they actually can build, let's say, a sequence of maybe 2 or 3 emails. So when you say, okay, if I send the first email and within 3 days, check whether has the person replied to me. If he's yes, then basically I will do my manual conversation. But if the person has not replied, the system will send a second email to remind them that, hey, I sent you an email a couple of days ago. Have you managed to see it? If not, I just want to reach out to talk about this or some other things that can be of service to you. So then monitor for another message, another 2 or 3 days. If the person has not responded, then you send a third one. Okay. So this is where you use tools like Mailcheck and all, because they will basically be tracking the response from the person that you're sending the email to. Okay. Whereas if somebody sends a reply back to, let's say, an email, inbound email that you send out, tools like this do not track replies. Okay. As far as they're concerned, it's almost like a broadcast mechanism, and they don't track replies. Whereas tools like this, especially for cold emails, then you use this. The second key differentiating factor is your domain has to be, well, preferably is separate. The reason from your, let's say, your main domain, all right, so you have set up a separate domain just to do this. The reason why this is necessary because you're reaching out to the cold person, for example, or not a cold person, but basically some stranger, the rate of unsub is going to be pretty high, right? Depending on how well you write your emails. Okay, so if you just say, hey, just for reach out, I do this, obviously you're going to get a lot of unsub, and you may get a fair bit of complaints because the person did not give you permission to write to them. Okay, so it's almost as good as spam, right? So you want a separate domain so that at worst, this domain will not affect your main, let's say, inbound domain that you use for sending out emails to people who already given you permission. Okay, so these are generally the key thing that you basically want to be aware of, and not use the normal ESPs to actually send your cold email. So that's let me see. Okay, so Facebook user, I don't know who you are, but anyway, thanks for responding. Cold emails are often enter spam. Yes. Any themes to go about it? Okay, cool. So Simon, I hope I've made it very clear. Do not use the normal ESPs to send cold emails. If you want, especially in bulk, right? So the software like this allows you to send maybe, let's say, 50 emails a day. And you may have a list of, let's say, 1,000. Don't know where you get a list from, but let's say you have a list of 1,000. Every day you will send 50, and will track the response, and then we'll send the subsequent ones. Okay, so this is how you use automation. At worst, you just use your normal Gmail or basically your Google account or email to send one by one. All right, so that's one way of doing it. Okay, to address your question, yes, cold email often enters spam. So the few things you need to do is this. One, you need to make sure you have warmed up your email domain. Okay, because the ESPs will be tracking and say, how reliable, the reputation basically of this email. Okay, and second thing, obviously they want to see what is the spam rate. So new email domain, for example, is generally set up by, let's say, spammer, because it's going to be hit and run. So they buy $50 for a domain, and then you're going to spam the people to as far as they can go. And then after that, if it's burned, they'll burn off the domain and they start another one. So for you, if you're sending obviously you're in a genuine business, that's why we are here having this discussion. So you want to make sure that you have a proper domain, number one, and it's proper warm up. Warm up means basically you send to the people, for example, build a reputation of people who open and click on your emails first. So you start by basically, there's tools, for example, like Lamlist. They would basically help you warm up your domain over a period of 15 to maybe 20, 21 days, where they send within their circle. And what they do is everybody will open your email and all those things. So when it goes to the actual ESPs or the good Gmail and all those things, you have a pretty good reputation. And because they would have the record, somehow or other they have a record to see that, oh, well, a lot of people have been opening your email, so very likely you're coming from a genuine source. All right. Number two is you want to, when you want to send emails to the genuine, to reach out, so-called the genuine people, your content, your header, or you call your subject line, then your content has to be very specific. That means you don't send to, let's say you've got a list of 100 people, you don't send the same people all these 100 emails the same. It has to be personalized. Now, when it's personalized, that means I'm talking personalized the subject line and also the content. Then it will increase the chances of people opening your email, and obviously from there reading your email. Okay, so this is something within your control. So if you are lazy and says, well, I've just written a standard blog text talking about web design, and this is what we offer, for example, and you send it out to that 100 people, I can guarantee you, you would have, because it's not relevant. First, you are reaching them without permission. Second thing, you're sending things that's not relevant to them or doesn't pique their interest. You would guarantee to have a lot of spam complaints, right? So even if you do this, even if you get it done here, the second part, if your content is not relevant, you will still fall into that gap. Okay. So first, obviously, this one you can manage. Second thing is decide to write very personalized. So if you are writing to me, for example, and I happen to be speaking on a webinar, you may refer to that webinar and says, I like this. I've seen, check out your website, for example, and I found that there are certain areas that I think can improvise on your website, and these are the tips. Now you're providing value upfront, and then it will trigger me and say, oh yeah, it seems to make sense. Okay, let's reach out, let's discuss, right? Now you have this conversation. But if you send me a cold email and reach out and say, hey, I'm XYZ from where, and I do web design, and I help you with SEO and whatever it is, it has no relevance to me. It does not speak to my interests. So obviously, after you send maybe 3 or 4 emails, I probably report you as spam, right? But because I'm in the email marketing business, I'll probably just unsubscribe, right? That'll be nice. But generally, this is what, when you reach out, these are the things you need to be aware of. Okay, cool? Hi, and thanks for watching. If you need my help to set up your email marketing engine for your business, just click on the link here and you see a list of services that will help you grow your leads and sales and also increase your profits through emails. I'm looking forward to working with you soon.